680's Richard Southern joins us. Richard, Trump's Trudeau Twitter tirade, try saying that 3 times fast. Well, it took the Loonie for a ride today.
It sure did. We saw that, that bicker we saw over the weekend, the Twitter back and forth between Trump and Trudeau. It was reflected in the Canadian dollar, which was down 1/3 of a cent. There are, of course, growing trade war fears with Trump taking aim at Trudeau and with Trump revoking his support for a joint G7 statement. Stocks, though, held up just fine. The TSX, as you saw off the top, moved higher. Investors, I think, are paying closer attention to the underlying economic data which has been coming out, which is good, which shows the U.S. economy growing, the global economy growing. Trump threatened trade tariffs on the auto sector, but we saw a lot of the auto-related stocks, including Magna International, moving higher. So markets not too badly affected by this, Janelle. I think a lot of investors, like everyone else, are going to be watching now this big summit between Trump and Kim Jong-un, and that could potentially move the markets tomorrow, depending on how that goes.
That's right. We'll be watching that tonight. All right. It's arguably the hottest restaurant in the GTA right now, and it's a fast food chain. You got to talk to the CEO of Jollibee about its Toronto expansion plans.
So this is an amazing story. They opened there at Kennedy Commons at Kennedy in the 401, Janela, 2 months ago. Literally every single day, there's a 2 to 3 hour lineup to get in. They have corrals in the parking lot because there's so many people. So the question is, when are we going to see more of these Filipino fast food joints open in Canada? I asked the CEO. The question is, where's the next location? What are the expansion plans?
The plan is to open more stores. The next one will be in Mississauga. That will be our 4th store in Canada. And our plan is to open 100 stores in the next 5 years.
How many in Canada?
Today we have 4.
How many are you planning to open in Canada?
100 stores in the next 5 years.
What about downtown Toronto? Are we going to get a store downtown?
Yes, we're looking now also at downtown and other suburb areas.
So how long will that take to open the 100 stores in Canada?
We're looking at the next 5 years.
So this is pretty aggressive expansion.
Yes, it is because of the warm support from the people of Canada, and we're very, very happy about it.
So, Janela, we're going to see Jollibees everywhere. They're like Tim Hortons here in Canada in the Philippines. They're absolutely everywhere in the Philippines. Very popular there, and now we're going to see a big Canadian expansion. My full story on Jollibees coming up on City News at 5 and 6, and it's online as well at citynews.ca.
All right. Well, if you were looking for a cup of joe today, you couldn't get it at Starbucks because they closed all of their Canadian stores early for sensitivity training.
Yeah, that's right. 1,100 stores shutting down early. You don't see this every day. Of course, this is in response to the arrest of 2 black men in a Philadelphia area Starbucks in April. So employees today, as part of this training, they broke into groups of between 3 and 5, and they went through a 68-page book of exercises that, among other things, asked them to discuss their racial identity, whether or not they ever felt distressed at work because of external events related to their race. This is really part of Starbucks' PR effort to fight back against what happened and to maintain its position as being very customer-focused. It's not costing a great deal. Most people, Janela, they go to Starbucks sometimes before the noon hours, so by closing in the afternoon hours, it's not going to cost them too much money.
Okay. And in the meantime, a major rebranding for a legendary restaurant chain. We now know what IHOP is changing its name to.
Yeah, IHOB, and the B standing for burgers. So this is a major shift for this sort of restaurant-focused burger chain. They're rolling out a lineup of 7 burgers that includes the Big Brunch Burger, which features bacon, egg, and hash brown. The chain says it still will sell its pancakes and its breakfast, and it says the name change will only be temporary. What it's really about, we think, Janelle, is trying to bring people in the door after the breakfast and brunch times, try to get them in there later in the day. So an interesting exercise in marketing. This got a lot of play around the world today. Is IHOP rebranded as IHOB.
All right. Thanks so much, Richard. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thanks.